And welcome back to the Daily Sip. Eudora Welty was one of Mississippi's most prolific writers. There's a special display about her in the Mississippi, the Museum of Mississippi History, down at the two museums downtown right now. And the centerpiece is one of her tools of the trade that may have been lost, except someone recognizing it for what it was. Nan, what are we looking at here?
We have a portable manual typewriter that was used by Eudora Welty. It's a quiet deluxe model made by the Royal Typewriter Company. And she used it probably from the 1950s to the 1970s. When she upgraded to her new manual typewriter, she donated this to the rummage sale at New Stage Theater. And so somebody bought it at the sale and donated it to the Department of Archives and History, and that's what we have on display here.
So somebody said, no, wait a minute. This is Eudora typewriter. Yeah, this is like Edison donating his light bulb machine or something like that.
Right, exactly.
What would she have written, some of the stories that she would have written on this typewriter?
When would she have written them, or which stories?
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly which ones would have been written on here. I do know that in the 70s, when she got her last portable typewriter, she used that for a few years and then upgraded finally to her first manual typewriter in 1981. And at that point, they asked her what stories were written on this typewriter that you're just giving away. And she's like, oh, it's just an old portable typewriter. Nobody cares about that. And she wasn't even sure what stories she had written on that typewriter. But from the span of when this typewriter and her next manual were used in 1981, had some wonderful books written, of course, Upon Her Heart and The Optimist's Daughter, which she won the Pulitzer Prize for. So a lot of her stories and novels would have been written on those.
Other than those two, my two other favorites are Why I Live at the P.O. And then the Well-Worn Path. Well-Worn Path is the one that Willie Morris told Eudora Welty when he met her as a writer years later, that's the reason he wanted to start writing, was when he read The Well-Worn Path.
Interesting.
So what made you want to start writing? So the significance of this typewriter, when you first saw this typewriter, I mean, it's a typewriter, but then when you heard the story of it, it began to kind of glow a little bit, and like an angelic halo came around it or anything?
Exactly, and you just think about how it just could have been lost. If somebody had not realized what it was, then anybody could have picked this up for $5 at a rummage sale and had no idea what they had. So it's good that that the New Stage employee who recognized what it was able to get it and then donate it to us.
For people who don't know, which there may be 4 or 5 of them out there, briefly tell me a little bit about the significance of Eudora Welty.
Eudora Welty was a prolific writer who was from Jackson, Mississippi. She was born in 1909 and lived until 2001 and wrote tons of stories in her home, which is on Pinehurst Avenue in Belhaven. Now, it's actually run as a historic house by the Department of Archives and History. And we are celebrating the centennial of the house this year. So in recognition of that, on Wednesdays throughout 2025, admission to the Welty House will be free. So if you haven't seen it yet, now is the time to go on a Wednesday and take advantage of that free admission.
Right. So, first of all, tell me what the Wednesday luncheons are, so for the other 4 people who don't know.
On Wednesdays at the two Mississippi museums, we have a History's Lunch series where we bring in a historical topic every week. Someone will give a talk on it. It's free and open to the public every week. So come, you can bring a lunch if you want to. You don't have to.
And so it is at lunchtime?
It is at lunchtime. It's at noon, from noon to 1 on Wednesdays.
And then you have someone coming in to talk about Eudora Welty.
Yes, Pearl McCaney. She is a Welty scholar who is going to be talking about the Lamar Life Building, which is actually what brought the Welty family to Jackson. Christian Welty worked at the Lamar Life Building. So, and Eudora Welty worked there as well for a while, running a radio show. So she'll be discussing the building and its connection to the Welty family.